We were originally hedge fund managers, and what we realized was that this developmental space is actually very underrepresented in South Africa. And there's some very healthy returns that come out of the space. When you look at private equity and you break it down into its subsets, it's quite interesting that in South Africa the bulk of the capital has gone into the developed, the leveraged buyout, the management buyout space, which is fine. It's just that the developmental space is underrepresented. To put some figures to it, there was a survey that came out by KPMG and the South African Venture Capital Association that shows, I think it was 94 billion rand goes into late stage private equity and only 3 billion rand into early stage private equity. So certainly our impression, and it's not exclusively ours, I think, but South Africa is certainly a dual economy. There's a developed part of the economy and a developing part of the economy. But all the private equity money, which is typically used in the developmental space, is all heavily skewed towards the developed part of the economy. Now, one that leads you to ask questions from a macroeconomic point of view from South Africa. We need to have a look at that as a country, right? If you look at the stats that come out of the US, they're taking venture capital as a proxy for developmental capital, even though it's a subset. There, what you find is 12% of total US jobs comes out of venture capital. Something like 21% of GDP comes out of venture companies. Now, that's a developed economy putting money into developing capital. We're a developing economy, and we're putting none of our money into developing capital. Okay, now the question you then ask is, well, why is that, right? And this is certainly our impression over the last number of years, is that what we found is that South Africans tend to be, it appears, we tend to be quite risk averse. So I think it's safe to say that venture capital has been a very hard sell in South Africa, for many years now. If you go and look in the States and in Europe, pretty much most other countries other than in SA, you will find high risk or early stage funds that are dedicated for that. Our experience has been that hasn't been the case in South Africa, or they haven't been very well supported, because I think of that risk, folks haven't got an appetite for it.